Impact.
Impact.
Lower left-hand corner. Impact. Impact.
Nice.
Woo!
There it is.
That gun's pretty badass.
Yeah.
I think a triple tap at a mile counts.
Buckle up, Buttercup. It's gonna be hard to pack all the awesomeness we did in the past month with this rifle into one video, but I'm gonna try. First of all, I have always wanted to make a 338 Lapua Magnum video, and I've always wanted to get some real experience shooting that caliber. Sure, I've shot it from time to time, a round or two behind someone else's rifle, but you see, it's really expensive. The going joke is if you can actually afford a 338 rifle, a scope worthy of that rifle and caliber, and all the accessories to go with it, you have a super expensive rifle that is chambered in $5 bills. So when I got contacted by Desert Tech to do a review on their SRS M2 variant chambered in 338 Lapua, I had to politely decline. I told them I just can't afford to feed that. Then they said, what if we provide the ammo? And to that I replied, well then it's on like Donkey Kong. Full disclosure, I already own an SRS that I purchased almost 2 years ago. Yes, that was painful, but buy once, cry once. And it remains one of my favorite 6.5 Creedmoor rifles to this day. Mine is a Covert, which is basically the most compact version Desert Tech makes. This particular one is called an M2, and I'll get into the differences in a second, but first let's talk about the SRS as a platform. If you're unfamiliar with the SRS, here are the basics. First of all, it's a bullpup, and what that means is the rifle can be shortened by placing components like the firing mechanism, the magazine, and the stock behind the trigger, allowing the barrel to be moved rearward. This allows you to retain full-size barrel length and advantages such as greater muzzle velocity and potential accuracy in a much smaller, more compact package. Essentially, bullpups use all the space in the stock that is normally wasted in a traditional rifle. This does present some new challenges and a new manual of arms. For instance, when you compare the Desert Tech SRS M2 against my Barrett MRAD, both with 26-inch barrels, the SRS is 10 inches shorter, which is pretty significant in my book. Let's take a look at the ergonomics for a second, because sometimes bullpups can take a little getting used to. However, I don't think you'll really find that with the Desert Tech SRS. Let me just say that I think the overall ergonomics of the SRS are very well thought out and exceptional. Length of pull can be adjusted with spacers in the stock, and the cheek riser can also be customized to the shooter. The grip is extremely comfortable and works great whether you want to use it as a traditional pistol grip or take a more precision style grip with your thumb on the same side as the rest of your hand. Bullpup triggers kind of have a reputation for being, well, let's just say lousy. Not the case though with the Desert Tech SRS. This trigger is outstanding. The shoe is very nice and has a flat face on it, allowing you to get a really good consistent pull. This one is pulling at a very crisp 2 pounds and breaks just like glass. The trigger is also adjustable so it can be tailored to your exact needs. Another really cool feature with the SRS is a built-in rear monopod. Just give a quick little pull on the ring to deploy. You can fine-tune by twisting that ring. And to put it away, pull on the ring and push up on the monopod. It's also important to note that the SRS is actually a completely modular system. If I were to buy a 338 Lapua Magnum caliber conversion kit, including a barrel, bolt, and magazine, I could turn my cute little SRS Covert into this fire-breathing, extreme long-range capable monster in 338 Lapua Magnum. It's always good to have options. The Desert Tech SRS has a quick change barrel system which is very impressive. It comes with this little torque wrench that is already set to the proper amount of torque. All you do is unlock the system, then loosen these 4 screws about a half a turn or so, and the barrel will pop right out the front. This is a video of me changing it in the field without any editing.
Ready? Yep. Go.
This is a very cool system and lets you change calibers to fit your specific shooting needs on any given day. I will also say that removing the barrel and reinstalling it, the system holds 0. Now, if changing calibers, you may want to re-zero, but just removing and reinstalling the same barrel, the system holds 0 shockingly well. Shockingly well, like, oh, it's still a 308, I forgot to change it back to 338 Magnum to shoot a mile today, pop the barrel in, and it's on. Once you pull the existing barrel out, replace it with another one, in this case 308, lock the system and tighten the 4 screws with the provided torque wrench. For this caliber change, we have to change the bolt and the magazine as well. I can do all that in the field in just over a minute. With some practice, I could probably get that lower than a minute.
1 minute and 11 seconds.
Thought I could do it in a minute.
Not shabby at all.
What gives this particular SRS the designation M2 is the new handguard. This has M-Lock all round, but has Area 419 ARCA Lock on the bottom. What is ARCA Lock? It's the new. This stuff is so cool, I really think it will be replacing everything else in the near future. ARCA Swiss is actually originally intended for camera use. It functions as a dovetail system for attaching 2 pieces of equipment together and also gives the ability for the equipment to slide back and forth. Shooters actually started using it and it worked really well, except under heavy recoil, like 338 Lapua Magnum kind of recoil. So the geniuses at Area 419 developed ARCA Lock. This adds little areas to lock onto the rail. This allows a secure lock even under recoil. Best thing is regular ARCA accessories will still work with it, even if they don't have the lock feature. You can also still slide accessories, which can be handy when shooting off tripods or bags. There are also a ton of accessories available for this. My tripod accepts ARCA. Area 419 makes these great little ARCA Lock clamps for the Atlas bipod. And we even mounted the sandbag to the rail, giving us a little extra weight and stability when we were shooting a mile. You're starting to see this more and more, especially in the precision rifle world. I also think that it was so smart of Desert Tech to make a handguard available with the ARCA Lock built into it. Like I said earlier, this is my first time really getting to spend some time shooting 338 Lapua Magnum, and I've actually come to the conclusion that it is actually the perfect home defense round. By perfect, I mean if the intruder is at your neighbor's house, 2,000 yards away, behind a refrigerator. The 338 Lapua Magnum would be perfect for that. But all kidding aside, this is a crazy powerful round with a ton of kinetic energy on target. As I mentioned before, Desert Tech sent the majority of the ammo that we used for this project, and I would like to say that the Desert Tech ammo is absolutely fantastic. It's razor accurate, it had perfect function, and most impressive to me is all the ballistic data on the back of the box is spot on. Most of the time when you buy ammo, if it even has ballistic data on the box, it's usually so far from even being remotely correct, it's completely worthless. I know this was Desert Tech ammo out of a Desert Tech rifle, but everything was spot on. If you were looking for some really good ammo for your rifle, I would highly recommend the ammo that Desert Tech makes. Let's talk about the fun part, shooting this thing. We of course zeroed this thing and took it right out to 1,000 yards at Rockford Gun Club, which was a ton of fun, but I had to get this thing on at a mile. So we headed to Alabama Precision so we could test 338 Lapua Magnum out of the Desert Tech SRS all the way to 1 mile, 1,760 yards. Now I have to say, a mile shot is pretty tough. And on the day that we went, the conditions were not ideal. We had about a 20-mile-per-hour wind, which is pretty rough at a mile. Several guys came out that day trying to get their rifles on at 1 mile, and many of them went home heartbroken. Wind in Alabama is tricky. It's not steady, it's like gusts. So having a consistent wind call is very hard, and even harder at extreme distances like a mile. But we were shooting .338 Lapua Magnum, which didn't give a damn about the wind. But even given those conditions, the Desert Tech rifle with the primary arms platinum scope and the CGS Group Hecate suppressor, I was able to pull off this little feat.
Spotter ready.
Got him.
Now you hit the lower left corner. Do you see it?
Hold what you got.
I heard that one.
Yeah, you could actually hear that impact. Impact.
Got him
That was
again.
on the edge though, the left edge. That was high, about a target high.
See it? Okay, so you're about, hold on.
You were dead center, but just about a target high.
Yeah. Ready? Yes, sir.
Yep. Dead center.
Dead center.
Yeah, enough.
And my buddy was able to get his first mile shot on that day as well.
Hit.
Well, even given the conditions, that was still pretty awesome. But then I was contacted by a friend of the channel who invited us out with them to shoot Arena Training Facility in Blakely, Georgia. And they also have a mile shot. So we loaded up the Desert Tech and hit the road. And on this day, we had much better conditions.
Impact.
Impact. Good shot.
Lower left hand corner. Impact. Impact.
Nice.
Woo!
There it is.
That gun's pretty badass.
Yeah.
I think a triple tap at a mile counts.
On this day, the conditions were good, the gun was dialed in, and everybody got shots on at a mile.
Impact. That was on the top right hand corner.
Impact, like dead center.
I held dead center. That's definitely an impact that time. Because that went.
Yeah.
That was a great day. Well, hopefully you get the idea. The Desert Tech SRS is insanely accurate, and if you do your job, it will do its job. I've always been very happy with the accuracy of my 6.5 Creedmoor Covert, and this .338 Lapua Magnum M2 version is no different. But the rifle can't do it all on its own, so let's take a quick look at some of the accessories we used to pull off these 1 mile shots. I don't know how much you've shot .338 Lapua Magnum, but it's extremely loud, like 2 sets of ear pro loud. Even with most .338 silencers, you're still gonna need hearing protection. On top of that, it's one of those calibers that give you a very noticeable concussive blast every time you pull the trigger. I really have never heard a .338 can that has impressed me at all, until the CGS Hecate or Hecate. Not sure anyone really knows exactly how to pronounce it. I can tell you it should be called the quietest .338 can ever devised. This thing tames 338 to the point that it's enjoyable to shoot all day long without any ear pro. CGS is the kingdom of silence, and they continue their assault on what you thought is possible with a silencer with the Hecate in 338. As of this video, I don't think the Hecate is officially released yet, but if you're in the market for a 338 can, do yourself a favor and wait for it. I promise you, you will not be sorry you did. The most important part of shooting long range is the glass, and what more can I say about the Primary Arms PLX 6-30 scope other than multiple shooters made 1 mile shots with it, and we consistently made 1 mile shots using it at 2 different locations. For me, that's all I need to know. The glass is exceptionally clear, all the adjustments are very affirmative, and it just feels like it is built like a tank. I also love the ACSS Athena reticle. There's a lot to talk about with the reticle, and we'll go more into that in a full review of the scope down the road, but my favorite part is the very center has a chevron instead of just a dot, and the point on the top of that chevron I really like to line up those precision shots. I'm a huge fan of the scope, and it competes very well with scopes that cost twice what the PLX does. If you're looking for a rock-solid long-range scope that you won't have to put a second mortgage on the house for, get the Primary Arms PLX. Well, I got to make my 338 video and it didn't cost me a dime. Well, I had to rent out one of those ranges to shoot a mile. I also had to buy a couple $100 boxes of ammo to supplement the ammo Desert Tech sent. And of course now I want to own a Desert Tech SRS in 338. So it looks like my free video got real expensive real quick. Irregardless of my first world problems, if you're looking for a new rifle, I'd definitely look into the SRS lineup. Whether you want something ultra compact like my Covert and 6.5 Creedmoor, or something more substantial like this one chambered in 338, they are awesome rifles. I also think the new M2 handguard is a great addition and allows even more options for this amazing platform. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. Impressive round, impressive rifle, some impressive accessories to go with it. I hope I did it all justice. Now for the sad part, sending this rifle back to Desert Tech. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now, because we have some really big reviews in the works that you won't want to miss. If you want to know what those reviews are way before they hit the YouTube channel, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Parler, and there you can see what's being reviewed in real time. If you want to help support the channel, the best possible way to do that is through Patreon. These videos can be surprisingly expensive to make, and every little bit helps and is greatly appreciated. There's also Alabama Arsenal gear available right below the video if you want to go out and represent. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching.